I never liked Tuesdays. That was the day she always stayed late, claimed work dragged meetings past sundown, told me not to wait up, kissed my cheek like everything still mattered. Her name? Celeste. A name that tasted like silk and sounded like music when I first heard it. I adored every inch of her. The way her laughter curled in the air like smoke, the way her fingers found mine without looking, how she filled rooms without speaking. But lately, her scent arrived home before she did. I noticed it first in our sheets. Lavender had vanished. In its place lingered sandalwood and something spicier, unfamiliar. Not mine. Never mine. Tuesday nights became rituals. I sat in darkness, pretended I was working, pretended harder that I believed her lies. The ticking clock above our fireplace grew louder with every minute she stayed away. Its beat felt accusatory, mocking. Our dog, Jasper, stopped wagging his tail when she walked in. Dogs know. Even if we don't speak it aloud, they feel betrayal deep in their bones. That particular Tuesday, the night began like the others. Running late again, babe. Don't wait, her text chirped at 5:42 p.m. Short. Dismissive. No emoji. No heart. No love. I didn't respond. Instead, I poured myself 2 fingers of whiskey, neat as always, and opened the email from a friend I hadn't spoken to in months. His message was only 2 lines. I saw Celeste at Miro's. She wasn't alone. Thought you should know. My chest tightened, but not in surprise. More like confirmation. Like checking a loaded revolver before Russian roulette. You know what's coming, but part of you prays for an empty chamber. Miro's. Upscale. Candlelight. Cloth napkins, real silverware. The kind of place meant for seduction, not spreadsheets. I left the house at 6:15. I didn't change clothes. Didn't comb my hair. I wanted to be invisible, just another pair of eyes behind a wine list. Downtown traffic was mercifully light. My car glided through amber lights like fate held them green just for me. By the time I arrived, the sun had dipped, painting buildings with a golden afterglow. There she was, through the frosted window. Center booth, back corner. Smiling. Not the smile I got. Not the tired, automatic one she wore when she forgot I existed. This was her smile. The one she used when we first met, when she pulled me into alleyways between drinks and kissed like she wanted to steal years off my life. Across from her sat a man. Younger than me. Sharper jawline. Suit tailored like it grew from his skin. He leaned in. Whispered something. She laughed. She touched his wrist. Something in my stomach curled, bitter and acidic. I clenched my fists beneath the table, nails biting flesh, but didn't flinch. I stayed for 37 minutes. Long enough to watch her feed him bites of dessert. Long enough to see him brush her knee under the table. Long enough to destroy the last illusions I had about our marriage. I didn't confront her there. No theatrics. No wine glasses shattered on tile. I went home, and I planned. Our bedroom felt foreign that night. I lay on sheets still warm from the dryer, staring at the ceiling fan spinning like a hypnotist's wheel. I thought about every time she claimed overtime. Every team-building trip. Every story that didn't quite add up. I remembered a conference in Atlanta that somehow left her with no photos, no souvenirs, no tan lines. I opened my laptop. Searched. Dug. Traced digital footprints she thought she'd erased. Browser histories, cloud-stored photos, receipts buried deep in our shared account. She used the same hotel every time. Same alias. Same pattern. Men rotated, but the deception stayed identical, polished, perfected, surgical. I wanted to scream, cry, break everything she'd ever touched. But I didn't. I saved the evidence. Compiled it into a folder named Memories. And then I wrote her a letter. She returned home at 11:08 p.m. Her heels clicked like guilt on hardwood. She hummed. Yes, hummed. As if she hadn't just erased 7 years with a forkful of creme brulee. Hey, she called out. You're up. I waited in the kitchen, sipping from a mug I didn't need. Yeah, I answered. Just thinking. She kissed my forehead. Her lipstick left a mark. Crimson. Proof. I didn't wipe it away. She walked upstairs, oblivious. Left her purse on the couch, same as always. Careless. Entitled. I followed 5 minutes later. Quietly. Controlled. She was brushing her teeth, her back to me, humming the same tune. "Good night," she mumbled through foam. I nodded. Slipped into bed. She turned off the light. Darkness swallowed us. I stared at the ceiling again, counting breaths. Tomorrow, I'd give her a reason to remember this smile. The one she wore walking in late, glowing with afterglow that didn't come from me. And when she opened that folder, she'd wish she had never smiled at all. I woke before the sun. Didn't sleep, really. Just lay there, eyes open, watching shadows shift as headlights painted fleeting streaks across the ceiling. Celeste curled beside me, breathing slow, peaceful, as if the weight of infidelity dissolved with dreams. I studied her. That face I once kissed without hesitation now looked different in the morning light. Softer, yes, but in a hollow, vacant way. Like the person I married had packed up and left, leaving behind only the illusion of love, draped in perfect skin. Her wedding ring gleamed on the nightstand. She never wore it to work anymore. I dressed in silence. Navy shirt. Dark jeans. Neutral. Nothing that said broken. Nothing that betrayed the inferno behind my ribs. Downstairs, I brewed coffee, made toast, left it on her plate the way I always did. Routine. Familiarity. Trap. I sent a text. Morning. Just wanted to say I love you. No reply. By 8:17 a.m., she was gone. Not a kiss. Not a glance. The only goodbye was the whine of tires backing out of the driveway. That afternoon, I visited a lawyer. A calm, older man named Mitchell. Gray temples. Sharp suit. No small talk. I handed over the file marked memories. Every message, transaction, hotel log, time-stamped photo, even a screenshot of her grinning at lover boy across dessert. He didn't flinch. "Want to take this scorched earth?" he asked. I nodded. He slid papers across the desk. "You'll need to sign here, and one more at the bottom." I did. Power of restraint? Removed. Financials? Locked down. Joint accounts? Frozen. Car title? Transferred. Even Jasper's registration? In my name now. Everything she had access to, I'd touched, sealed, flipped. By 3 p.m., she was technically still my wife. By 3:01, she was just a stranger trespassing through my life. That night, she called. I let it ring 4 times before answering. Keep her guessing. Always guessing. "Hey hon," she purred. "Dinner's on me tonight. I grabbed your favorite. No late meeting tonight?" I asked. Pause. "Barely there. Nope. Cleared everything early for you." I smiled. "Nice of you. I thought you'd be happy." "I am," I lied. She didn't hear the flatness. Or didn't care. Probably too busy planning how to wash his cologne off her skin again. She arrived at 7:12 p.m. Wearing red. The same dress from our first anniversary. Tight at the hips, low at the back, dangerous by design. I'd loved that dress once. Now it looked like a costume she wore to play the role of faithful wife. She leaned in to kiss me. I turned slightly, let her kiss my cheek instead. Her lips hesitated. "You okay?" she asked, searching my face. "Fine." Dinner tasted like nothing. Her laughter bounced off the walls, but I didn't reach for it like I used to. I watched her fork move. Studied her throat as she swallowed. Imagined the words she never said buried somewhere behind her teeth. She poured wine. 2 glasses. Toasted nothing in particular. I didn't sip. Afterward, we watched a movie she picked. Some rom-com where the guy fights through 10 airport gates to stop a girl from leaving. She cried at the ending. I didn't blink. When the credits rolled, she turned to me. "I missed this," she whispered. I met her eyes. "Did you?" She smiled, slow and sweet, like venom sliding off a blade. "Of course." Later, she slid beneath the sheets, warm skin against mine, fingers trailing over my stomach. She wanted me. Needed to convince herself everything was still intact. But I let her touch ghost over me without reciprocation. She noticed. Not in the mood, she whispered. Long day, I muttered. A lie. Every part of me burned. But not with desire, only cold fury. I didn't want to make love. I wanted to make war. Eventually, she rolled over. Slept. I stared at the ceiling. Again. The next morning, I left before she woke. Drove to the address I found in the background of one of her photos, a condo downtown. I parked across the street. Waited. At 9:47 a.m., he stepped out. Sharp suit. Same as the one from Miro's, only in slate gray this time. Coffee in one hand. Phone in the other. Smug bastard. He didn't see me. But I saw everything. Later, I mailed him a package, unmarked, no return address. Inside, 6 high-res photos of her with other men. Not him. Others. All time-stamped. Labeled. Just in case he thought he was the only lie she told. Back home, I printed the letter. The one I started that first night. I didn't go poetic. No dramatic flair. Just truths. Plain, raw, undeniable. Celeste, you were everything. Until you weren't. I gave you time, devotion, loyalty. You gave strangers your body and gave me silence. The woman I married no longer exists. Maybe she never did. I don't hate you. But I can't love you anymore. You made your choices. I've made mine. By the time you read this, I'll be gone. I placed it on the kitchen counter beneath her favorite mug. Beside it, a USB drive labeled Miro's dessert. Just a little gift. At 6:33 p.m., I stood by the window. She pulled into the driveway. Smiling. Walking toward the door like nothing had changed. Like this was just another Tuesday. But she didn't know yet. She didn't know the locks had already been changed. That her credit cards would decline tomorrow. That her reputation, so carefully curated, would unravel by lunchtime. She didn't know what silence feels like when it's not peaceful, but final. And when she walked in, calling my name with that same sweet tone she used to manipulate me, I didn't answer. I watched. From across the street. From my car. And when she saw the letter, saw the USB, saw the key taped to the front door with a note that said, "This no longer fits," she stopped smiling. I watched her from across the street. She stood in our doorway, frozen. Letter in one hand, key in the other, disbelief scrawled across her face like smeared lipstick. No dramatic screams. No broken glass. Just silence, heavy and humming. She turned the key once. Twice. Realized it didn't fit. Tried again. Still nothing. I imagined the panic blooming in her chest, slow and creeping, spreading like ink on white linen. The realization that this wasn't a prank. This was real. Permanent. I sat inside the car, engine off, headlights dimmed, heart steady. Not triumphant. Not even satisfied. Just done. She stared at the USB like it might bite. I knew she wouldn't plug it in there on the porch. She wasn't bold like that. Not without control, not when the script flipped. Instead, she clutched it like evidence, dashed back to her car, and peeled off down the street, tires shrieking betrayal. I waited 10 minutes. Then I drove. Not far, just enough to breathe different air. A motel. Cheap. Unassuming. Privacy paid in cash. The clerk didn't ask questions. Didn't care why a man with bloodshot eyes and clenched fists needed room 208. I lay on the stiff mattress, shoes on, staring at the cracked ceiling. Same as home. Different kind of silence. My phone buzzed. Once. Twice. Then erupted. 25 missed calls. 12 messages. All from her. First few, confused. Worried. Where are you? Why's my card declined? Then angry. What did you do? Followed by desperation. Please. I can explain everything. I didn't open the videos she sent. I didn't care about her excuses. Rehearsed, recycled, probably borrowed from someone else's failed affair. She wanted a reaction. I gave her silence. By morning, she'd called from her mother's number. Left voicemails full of tears. Asked where Jasper was. Said she couldn't sleep, couldn't breathe. Good. I wanted her to feel every ounce of the weight she'd dropped on my chest for months. I wanted her to choke on it. I waited until afternoon before responding. A single message. You lost me. Him too. Delivered. Read. No reply. I knew she was probably spiraling now, calling the lawyer, trying to access frozen accounts, begging friends for help. Maybe she even reached out to him, the pretty boy from Miro's. He wouldn't answer. Not after the package I sent. I imagined the look on his face as he unwrapped her infidelity like a gift. How fast he'd block her, delete her number, move on. Men like that always do. She'd go from thrilling to disposable in record time. She didn't know how much I knew. How far I had gone. Not yet. But she would. The next day I sent another message. This one attached to a delivery. Roses. 12 of them. Dead. Dried, blackened, stems brittle. No note. Just symbolism. She messaged again. You're being cruel. I said I was sorry. Can't we talk? Can we fix this? I miss you. I stared at her last message for a long time. Miss me? She missed the version of me who didn't know. The man who'd smile and say, I understand, when her lies came wrapped in perfume and lipstick. She missed the fool. That man was gone. I started packing what mattered. Documents, photos of my father, a watch passed down from my grandfather, 2 leather-bound journals she never touched. Left the rest. She could have the furniture, the TV, the fake plants she insisted on buying. Let them haunt her. Jasper sat by the door, ears perked. Sensed movement. Change. You ready, boy? I whispered. He wagged once. Loyal. We drove west. No destination. Just away. 2 days later, a friend texted me. She showed up at work. Cried in the lobby. Begged to know where you were. Security had to escort her out. I didn't reply. Her chaos wasn't mine anymore. That night I stayed in a cabin. Mountains stretched out in every direction, blanketed in stars and silence. I drank bourbon from a chipped glass and finally slept. For the first time in months, my dreams weren't full of suspicion. They were full of nothing. It was beautiful. She sent one final message. You were everything to me. I never meant to hurt you. Please. I'll do anything. Come home. I didn't answer. Instead, I uploaded the audio clip I'd secretly recorded. The one from that night. Her voice, breathy, wrapped in pleasure. Telling him things she never told me. I sent it to her work email. Subject line. Thought you might want a reminder. She opened it. Didn't reply. Didn't have to. Some betrayals don't deserve closure. Just consequences. A week passed. Then 2. Celeste stopped messaging. Stopped calling. Stopped pretending. The silence from her end felt less like surrender and more like exhaustion. Like she'd finally run out of versions of herself to wear. I didn't check her socials. Didn't need to. Friends told me things. Whispers. She moved back into her mother's place. Took time off work. Stopped showing up to her gym, her book club, her wine nights, places she used to brag about like merit badges. I guess shame isn't good for the skin. I settled into a rhythm. Every morning, I hiked trails that coiled like veins through the pines. Crisp air-filled lungs that had once been drowning. Birds I couldn't name sang above me, unaware of what I'd left behind. Jasper loved it. He barked at squirrels, chased shadows, rolled in leaves like the whole world had reset just for him. Maybe it had. Some nights, I still thought of her. Not with longing. Not even with anger. Just curiosity. How many times had she lied while brushing her teeth next to me? How often had she looked into my eyes and seen nothing worth being faithful to? I stopped trying to answer. Some questions don't deserve the dignity of closure. Then, one evening, a car pulled up. I saw the headlights before I saw the shape. I knew it wasn't a delivery. Wasn't a hiker. She stepped out. Celeste. No heels. No makeup. No perfume. Just a hoodie and jeans and swollen eyes. She looked like someone who had tried to cry herself back into being the woman I remembered. It hadn't worked. She didn't see me at first. I stood near the porch, behind the tree line. She knocked. Waited. Knocked again. I stepped out slowly. She turned. Her eyes found mine. There was no smile this time. Only fear. Guilt. And something worse, hope. "I just want to talk," she said, voice soft, almost cracking. "Nothing left to say," I answered. She took a step closer. "I know I don't deserve anything from you. I know what I did. I see it now. Do you?" She nodded, quickly. "I was stupid. I was selfish. But I never stopped." She paused, searching for the right lie, maybe the right truth. "Loving me?" I offered. She winced. "Don't," I added. "Don't insult me with that." She looked down at her hands. "I'm not here to beg," she said. I want to know how you moved on. Because I'm still stuck." I looked past her, at the mountains rising in silence. "You have to let things die," I said. "Like us." "There is no us," she cried. "Not the performative kind. Not the dramatics I remembered. Real tears. Ones that left streak. Ones that cracked her voice." She whispered, "I hate who I became." I didn't argue. "Did you ever love me?" she asked. My answer came without hesitation. "Yes." That made her cry harder. "I don't know who I am without you," she confessed. "That's not my burden anymore." She nodded slowly, almost like a child being dismissed from class. "Okay," she whispered. And she walked away. Didn't run. Didn't look back. She opened her car door. Sat for a second. Then pulled away, headlights swallowed by the dark. I didn't follow. Didn't wave. Didn't feel anything. Not even triumph. Just peace. Later that night, I took a pen and scratched her name off the journal's first page. Beneath it, I wrote something else. "Some ghosts deserve to watch you live." It wasn't revenge. It wasn't hate. It was closure, finally earned, not gifted. 6 months later, I met someone. Her name was Elise. A different kind of fire, warm, steady, not the kind that burns your house down when you blink. She didn't ask about my past. I didn't volunteer it. We built something new. Not fast. Not dramatic. But real. One evening, I told her everything. She didn't flinch. Just held my hand and said, "Thank you for surviving it." And in that moment, I realized I had. Some stories don't end with vengeance. Some end with quiet victories, private peace, and a soft hand reaching for yours in the dark. I never needed Celeste to regret it forever. I just needed me to stop regretting staying so long.